Hello.
Hello. Can you hear
You
me
guys,
okay?
I can't. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Kimber just dropped off. She'll be back. There she
Okay.
comes. Hey,
Thank
Kimber.
you.
All right. We'll give it a few minutes and see if we have anybody come in and join us. We may or may not. Either way, we're
Okay.
going to roll with it. But so how are you guys doing this morning?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Not too bad considering that my son has got a virus and like a little some pneumonia going on. So I've been a little not feeling well the last couple days, but we're doing much
Yeah.
better.
About the same here. Had a headache the last few days, and finally this morning I woke up without one. So
Good, because I was hoping yesterday it would leave you alone. I
yeah,
don't get those very often, so I don't. When I do, they suck. I don't like them.
I think I've just been fighting something all week because I felt not really like a cough and congestion, but more like allergy type things. And I don't know. I just felt like I was fighting something all week. And headaches didn't help. So
Yeah,
and Kimber's
apparently
gone again.
stuff's- things are going around for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
It always happens when school starts, I think.
I know it's like, is this a window to what's to come? You know what I mean? For the winter, like I'm
Hmm.
so vigilant in the winter. Like I
Right.
have been that way all my because I have autoimmune issues, so I don't like getting I can
Hmm.
get sick so easy. So I
Right.
always like run around disinfecting all winter long. I'm like, dang, it's already
Hmm.
starting.
Right. I
It's
make sure I
already,
stock up on my vitamin D and my zinc and all some other
oh
stuff as
yes,
well. So
definitely. My kiddo was hitting the vitamins yesterday. It's his idea. He's like, I need to take vitamins. I'm like, I got you, boo. Come on. So Kimber, poor well,
he's playing peekaboo.
she must be on her phone trying to walk around. I don't know.
Yeah,
Might be me not. I
probably.
may not be able to support more than one person. My son is here on the Xbox, and he knows if so
Oh,
if we go down without warning, he let me
right.
get Kimber back up so I can tell you guys this before we even get started. Just in case if we go
Right.
down, I've instructed my son if that happens, you need to get off of your Xbox game because I'm going to go back and talk to my
Right.
friends, and you can
Right.
just hold me for a little while. So I've
Hey,
decided,
Kimber.
yeah, Kimber, glad you're back. It might be me, Kim, not being able to support too. It shouldn't be the issue though, but we'll see. But anyway, if things go down, guys, I will come back and set it back up quickly, and he'll get off the internet. But we're really going to talk about a lot of things and look at things, and we might play a few things. There is something I do want to play. Um, so we're going to try some things out here. I've also think I might have learned a thing or two over the last few days about my computer that Kimber. Hey Doodle, thank you for coming in. We are not human this morning apparently, and Kimber can't stay up here for some reason. She
Do you
keeps
want
falling.
me? Let me try. Let me drop down and see if she can stay up because I know she hasn't been on in a while. So Let's try
Yeah.
that, and then if she can stay up, then that's what it is. So
Well, we'll try
it's up to
that.
you.
Also, when I
Okay.
go into the Stern stuff, I do want you
Mhm.
back up here. You and I have been speaking like what a week and a half, going over all these new, trying
Right.
to keep up. Let me rephrase that. We're trying to keep
Yeah.
up with all these new I've been talking
Are you
about
there,
and
Sophie? Oh,
to
okay.
hit on. Okay,
You
can you
kind of
hear
went
me?
out for a second. Yeah, I can hear you.
No.
Oh,
Um,
Kimber said y'all go ahead in the chat.
yeah. Anyway, so I do want to go over that stuff and talk about some of the things we were talking about. You know what I mean? Um,
Mhm.
when we start reviewing that, um, there's not really a whole lot to say. Delphi hasn't. She hasn't really made any rulings since the 3-day hearings, except to allow the confessions in, all of them, however many there, 60 plus. We hear 61. Um, so I don't know. And they're all different and random, all over the place kind of confessions, and um, some were pretty specific to the crime scene. Some were completely
Mhm.
off.
Right.
So which ones were truth and lies, and at this point, but she decided that even though he was in the solitary confinement during all that time period and all the things, and it
Mhm.
was not recommended to be there as long as he was, and all that involved. She said that he wasn't incapacitated enough to warrant getting all those thrown out. So apparently they're
Wow.
all, yes. So not even a couple of them, you know what I mean, that might
Right.
be questionable. Hi, Captain. Welcome
Just
in.
makes everything more complicated, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's kind of, to me, that would be so confusing to a jury, because out of those 60, what do you choose as the prosecution to allow in? You're going to choose those ones that are damning, right?
Right.
So if they're allowing all of them in, will that benefit the defense? Because now they're fair game for the defense to bring up and say,
Yeah.
well,
Are they going to allow the testimony of like him throwing
well,
feces and
see,
feeding and all that? Because then that'll
I
back
get,
up.
then see, the strange part is the prosecution is so strange in this case that they didn't even want the defense to be allowed to depose the expert they want to bring in to explain how he was sane enough to make all those confessions. It's like
Right.
you don't get to bring in an expert without a rebuttal expert, so the jurors
Yeah.
can make up their mind. You now, I can't even question your expert that's going to tell me and everybody else that he's fine. He was good when he said all this stuff. Now y'all,
Mhm.
it's weird. So
Right.
that's where we're sitting at with Delphi. As far as I know, like I said, I haven't really. I dropped the ball on Delphi this week with so much else going on, but
Yeah.
um, I'm gonna keep up this week with all of the new things going on so I can get a good update for us. Um, Ribs, who's getting ribs? Duh. Y'all cannot
Oh
do
yeah.
that.
I'm
No,
sorry, but my
I don't
husband's
need.
doing a brisket and ribs and
Oh my god, I need your address. I don't eat cake. Like, I don't do sweets. Every time y'all are all eating cake, I'm like, I'm so left out.
yeah.
But now y'all talking ribs, you're speaking my language.
Yeah. And it's been
Doodle.
so hot over the summer that he hasn't wanted to really, go out there and smoke a brisket or anything, but he did
Yeah,
this weekend.
yeah. My son went to visit his dad last night, and they were smoking tenderloin, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
I'm like,
Mm.
I can't with y'all and your
I think
food.
he put some turkey breasts out there, and so he does the main thing, and I do the sides. So.
Yeah. Well, since my son and I weren't feeling good and we had some virus stuff floating around the house, I made
Mhm.
a large pot of my chicken soup yesterday, and
Oh, that
I
sounds
ate
good.
that stuff. Oh my god, I ate so much of it. Like, it's not filling all at one time, so I just kept going back in there and getting more, like every like half hour. That's what I'm going to be doing again today. That's all. I know that's all I wanted. And it was so good, and I felt so much better.
Yeah, that's
Doodle, if
good.
I eat cake, no, if I eat cake, it's without icing. When I was growing up, my mom knew that I didn't want birthday cake. Get me a
Mm.
pineapple upside down cake, something like that. I didn't
Yeah.
want that crazy birthday cake stuff. My jaws will lock up if I eat
Yeah.
it, 'cause it's so sweet. I can't.
Mhm.
Mm-mm. If I
Yeah.
snack, it's gonna be like potato chips and stuff that's not good for me. Well, I don't think cake's good for us either, but pay
No, but
attention to I don't pay too much attention to what is and isn't good for me, unfortunately.
yeah.
But
But I was the opposite. The frosting's my favorite, and my youngest, she doesn't like cake, so we do a cookie cake for her every year.
oh, there,
So
yeah, there you go. I don't even eat cookies. Like, if I do, it's like shortbread or something. I rarely get chocolate fixes. It's
hmm
I'm strange. But yeah, my name is Salty, so I guess I used to
yeah.
be. I was Salty Pirate in another world. I'll just say that. And then when I went full time into this, I became Salty Sleuth. So I've always been salty.
Yeah.
It ain't nothing new. Sometimes it is because I could live off vegetables. I'm not gonna lie. And if I'm gonna eat meat, I would prefer a steak or the brisket and the ribs. Like, I'm good to go. Other than that, you can give me vegetables all the time. I'm serious. If I go like to one of those country buffet places, I could literally
hmm
just eat all the vegetables and be happy.
That's good. That's a good thing.
Oh yeah, I like veggies. So anyway, we're gonna t- like I said, there's not much to talk about with Delphi until she decides on some different rulings. I guess she'll figure out what experts she'll allow and won't allow and all that goodness. When she gets it sorted out, we'll find
Yeah.
out. And I do know that there's been some filings and back and forths about the transcripts from the 3-day hearings. It is costly to put all that together, but that's your job. Y'all take care of
Right.
business, get it done, and then disseminate it for the public per your Indiana sunshine law that needs a lot of work. So I'll just leave that there because I'm not trying to have that show. But let me
It's
just say
another
I'm
whole rabbit
loving
hole.
my Florida sunshine laws. Yeah. Other states adopted our law, but not to the extent we push our law. And I said push our law. It's crazy the amount of, because if you look at what you're not allowed to have in other states or how hard it could be to get that stuff, and then you look at what we're being handed in the Stearns case, that's because of the Florida Sunshine Law. That's just not
hmm
that's not Florida going, "Oh, look at this crazy case, people. We're going to let you see it all." No, no, no. We saw all of that with Casey Anthony pre-trial.
Yeah.
And so going into that, Brian Koberger and this, I couldn't even tell you how long that hearing went for the change of venue because I didn't watch it all. I
hmm
watched the opening, and then they went on and on and on and on about a bunch of
Yeah.
statistics and demographics and how you watch the news. And I've known since I was young that they put the 6 o'clock and 10 o'clock news on at strategic times. Duh, um, all the things. But I guess you really got to lay it out there and get that backstory in the law. The judge listened because I did go back earlier this morning and listen to the closing arguments, if you will, for the
hmm
hearings. That's all that matters to me. So I
Right.
listened to everything Ann said, listened to what the state said, and I listened to what the judge said. And in my opinion, I think Judge will either move the trial to Ada County or he's going to bring a jury in. Because I don't know if he's buying my courthouse ain't big enough.
Yeah.
Because you can limit how many you allow in, and you can have your. They may not have room to have a spillover room, so it could be an issue at some point. But I'll be shocked if Judge denies this across the board. There's no way he can do that now. And had
Yeah.
some good arguments. The state has standard argument right now because it literally is just a standard, right? In my
Right.
opinion. So they have a standard argument. She had to bring and prove that they were biased because of the coverage. Did I agree with all her points? No, but I can see a lot of them.
hmm
But to be fair to the defendant and to protect the victims upon appeal,
Mhm.
you need to take care of this now and get a jury brought in or move it. So yeah.
Yeah.
So then you
That's
go
what I
and you
said with that, because
yeah, but you look at all the and there's a gag order in place and you can't know all the details, and that's we know everybody's been really upset over the gag order and the lack of information.
Mhm. Yeah.
Amount of
Yeah.
information we're getting on Stearns pre-trial. We got the same massive amount of information on Casey Anthony. It was proven time and time again how much she lied, not just to the police, but to the public on video, kind of like Jen. Um, Jailhouse calls between her and her parents where they're just going at each other. You know, media
Right.
camping out in front of the parents' houses for months upon months, threats. It was crazy. Never seen anything like
Mhm.
all that.
And
Jury
that you
walked
don't see here.
no, and then the jury walked in there and was able to look at the evidence presented and found her not guilty beyond a reasonable
Yeah.
doubt.
Yeah.
And they didn't burn the courthouse down. They wanted
Mm.
to. I'm
Mhm.
pretty sure, but they didn't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like, so I don't
Yeah.
know to protect it all just in case. I don't know. Maybe you would need to move the courthouse for security reasons because it is tiny over there and they don't have a lot of parking.
Mhm.
They literally don't. If you legit look at it in the terms of what it is, and you look at the Latah County Courthouse and their parking lot, you have the high school across the street. So they want to do it during the summer when there's no school, so
Right.
we can use that entire parking lot. People failed to see that point a long time ago when they were discussing it.
Right.
Ann brought up the house today. I was waiting for Miss Taylor to bring that house back up since she let her order to protect and keep the house expire February of 21, I think it was 22, whatever it was. Then the house came down. She brought up the proximity of that house to the courthouse. I was like, "Oh, Ann, I see you." And I had to mark a little check on her side. You know what I mean? She has to hit
Mhm.
the marks that matter because she didn't care when that house was coming down. But she
Yeah.
brought it up at the hearing, and I thought that was real interesting because she's right about a lot of the things that she said. I'm not saying they're biased there, like they're just out to get the guy, but I think the heaviness of what happened there.
Right.
And then she notes how if you are a juror, would you feel the pressure? I could honestly say I could because no one's going to know which way I voted, right? Unless I
Yeah.
go out and tell the public.
Mhm.
So which way I voted really wouldn't affect me if I was afraid somebody was going to side eye me at the grocery store because they figured out I was a juror because I left my house at 8 a.m. every morning to get to the courthouse for three
Right.
straight months because she brought that up. People will know that the neighbor leaves every morning at 8 a.m. to drive to the courthouse for three
Mhm.
straight months because she plans to carry this out for 3 straight months. I was like,
Unless they
damn.
pull the jury.
Well, that's why she's saying you need to bring in a
Mhm.
jury because
Mhm.
the neighbors are going to know in this tiny town you're leaving every morning. Now you're going to be identified as a juror through your tiny
Yeah.
town. They're all going to know and whisper about it.
Mhm.
That's the problem. And so that's her argument legally, and that's what mattered. That's what the judge is going to rule on, not those statistics. He was
Right.
so over those statistics, you know what I mean? After a while, it
Yeah.
seemed like he was over that stuff, and I was like right there with him. I'm like, can we fast forward through this argument because we both know where they're going, but we'll take it all into account. And he even said that in the end. He was listening, even if I wasn't the whole entire time. He was
Yeah.
taking notes. Um, he sees all of Ann Taylor's points, I promise. And like I said, I'll be shocked if he doesn't uh, um, give her what she wants. So far, he has
Yeah.
through most of the stuff. He hasn't given her everything. He didn't let her. He didn't agree with her that the indictment should be dropped. He didn't agree with her about the grand jury's 1800 stuff. So
Yeah.
I think this time
Big,
she brought a good legal argument, but all that statistics in the middle, witnesses, that's the stuff people don't want to look at trials because it takes forever. But you have to, you know,
yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna
Big
check up.
difference. Big difference between Delphi and as far as how the judges are. You know what I mean? Big difference. I think how they're
Yeah,
running.
well, and it's a lot of there's a lot of people that put out a lot of case laws in Indiana trying to
Hmm.
figure it out. What's actually going on over here. Um, is this normal procedure? Is it standard? Kind of like when Brian Koberger stood silent. Everyone's like, "Oh my goodness, that means something." But yes, Lori Vallow also stood silent in Idaho, and
Hmm.
so did Ann Taylor's new client, Skylar Mead, up for the death penalty for murder. She stood right beside him just a few weeks back and said, "My client stands silent." So is that an Idaho thing procedurally? I think so. Or it's at least an Ann Taylor procedure. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that's what it meant. But so every state's different, has their different laws. And Indiana um, does have some strange laws still in place that they go by, even like with the cameras and the audio coming into the courtroom. Um, other states have found a workaround, like stationary cameras the judge can control, not fixed on the suspect, no zooming in. We had that issue with Idaho, and the judge is like, "No, we're not going to have this. Y'all want to keep it open. You want to be able to see it. You're going to do it my way." And he did it like they did with the Letitia Stock trial. That's the way it should be done. We don't need court TV or random news people all up in the courtroom, all with their zooming lenses focused on the. You can't film the jurors, that's illegal. It's on the client, on the attorneys, on the families, on the judge, in and out. Like, no, stop. We,
Yeah.
we just need a record, right? We're here to get a record. So get the fixed camera and put it in. But Indiana won't even
Hmm.
do that. So it's crazy
Wow.
how that it's just different.
Yeah.
And even in the states that adopt the Florida Sunshine Law, they don't adopt all of it. They do parts of it. To we do get documents in Delphi, but they come slow and they come hard.
Hmm.
So
Yeah. Yep.
and then let me look at. Yeah, Kimber, we do have the best speeches of all. I'm a little prejudiced, but it's true.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's no comparison to Texas. Like, I never want to come back to go back to a Texas beach. I'd rather head 12 hours and go to those beaches. So,
Yeah, they don't have the white sand over there on that stretch of the Gulf Coast, do they?
mm-mm, they sure
I think
don't.
it ends like it's really stretched between the Alabama Gulf Coast down toward the panhandle of Florida around the bend, and that's it. Then you all the way down the Gulf of Mexico side of Florida. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Beyond Alabama, you get into Mississippi. You get some. It starts going into the marshland and stuff, and then the bayou
Yeah.
country on the coast. It's beautiful over there, and in parts of New Orleans that are so because it's sea level. It's crazy how if you travel the Gulf Coast and go up and down it and watch how our things change. It's really cool. I love that place. I'm blessed to live where I live, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Until it's hurricane season. Then not, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I've learned to live with them and over the years. Knock on wood, none this year, but we're almost we'll be home free soon. So hopefully
Yeah.
nothing burns out there anytime soon.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, Mother Ocean, I've heard your call. Anyway, so let's see, what do we want to talk about here? We're going to talk about, like I said, there's not really much to go over in Delphi, and they're going to make their decision on the change of venue over there in the Koberger case. And that's really about all we can do with that. But I wanted to talk about the Stearns case again. And I do need to pull something up to look at. Let me get it up here. So I went. I have. I had too many notes on this case. It's kind of scattered about. Into wait, butterfly, you right? I had way
Yeah.
too many. I was like, man, I got to get it together. So I organized a lot of the stuff on the computer, and then I made sense of my notes finally, I think. But there's a lot to be said about Jennifer's interview, and we're going to go over some of that in a minute. But I also wanted to go over, you know what? I don't even know if I had the picture of that one. Remember the picture of the dog hitting on Jen's car
Mhm.
on the rear? Was it the rear right fender or wheel well? Yeah. Let me
Yeah, I
see if I
believe
have.
so.
Let me see if I have it in this folder. Oh no, I do got photos of where Stearns was, how they mimicked what he allegedly did to the roommate when he recorded under her door.
Oh
Let me
yeah, I
show
think
you.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, let me show you my intro. Let me say this on my intro. There was a couple of photos in there, thanks to the docket
Mhm.
and Plunder True Crime. And there's also some things in here we're going to see from Grizzly True Crime. They have all worked hard and diligently to help get this latest doc drop out, and it's massive. We're talking audios, videos, documents.
Mhm.
They've had to go through all of it. I know that one of the roommates has expressed concern because some of these documents did not redact her name. And even though a creator only spoke of her first name, we hear there could be actions taken about cease and desist type stuff. So taking the time just to redact these documents is a pain in the butt, and it takes a
Right.
long time. And if you try to make a video, and you can literally, even Paula expressed this in one of her videos I watched yesterday, and I was like, damn, somebody gets it. At least I'm not alone, and she's way more
Mhm.
professional than I'll ever be. It takes a long time to do any of this stuff, make a video,
Right.
edit docs, all the things. So I want to give them all a big shout out and credit, because they also had to pay a lot of money to get all. You can get the court docs, this what's the filings from the attorneys, but to get all this extra stuff, you got to pay for it all. And they did.
Right.
So shout out to
Mhm.
those creators for doing this hard work that we can all then in turn take a look at. But I want to show you something that's so in one of the documents, and I don't know which one it is or where I even have it stashed, but we'll find it later, and I want to get the document along with the photo. Excuse me. Um, this should work because I tested it earlier. Let's see. Guys, bear with me because I am trying to get my shit together. Okay. So when one of the documents when they recovered Stefan's phone and they were able to get back into the phone because he reset it apparently twice, on
Mhm.
accident. We knew of once, but I saw in the excuse me, in the doc where literally it happened twice. I guess he wanted to be sure. So they found
Mhm.
an image or a video on the phone that they said appeared to be the roommate's bedroom. And this is what he did. He laid his phone against the door, right? And there was the crack in the opening at the bottom. I guess his camera on the other side I'm going to show you the picture of the view he had.
Mhm.
That was the view he had of her
Wow,
room
that's
with
crazy.
exactly. And that's the recreation from law enforcement right there. So I don't know what the video contained that they saw on his phone.
Mhm.
If it was just it was her apparently, according to the document, it was an image of her, and she had no idea that he
Wow.
had done that, right? Um, one of the old friends that grew up with him or roommated there for a bit with him told a similar story
Mhm.
that Stearns did this to the roommate's girlfriend, not his, but the other roommate's girlfriend. And they
Yeah.
found out dad paid them off, or mom,
Mhm.
one of the parents, paid them off just to keep quiet so Stefan
Right.
wouldn't get in trouble. It's
Yeah.
like, really? And I want to note that in the documents to put along with this, so when we go back and review, we have it together, because that to me
Right.
is insane. That
Pattern of
I,
behavior.
I,
Mhm.
I feel like the more time I've looked at this guy, I had to put him down for a couple days. Dude's weird.
Yeah.
But when I'm evaluating him and thinking about what he's doing, he appears to be getting progressively worse, especially
Mhm.
because he's been doing it for so many years to Maddie. And when you start going into the documents, you can, and you look at Jen's timeline and listen to her words in the interviews, I think he came into her life when Madeline was 6 years old.
Mhm.
So I think that the grooming started right then.
Yeah. And I can't.
I don't know if the other stuff started right then, you know what I mean? But the
Right.
grooming. So that's a long time, and so if you
Mhm.
all the years that he had access to her, whatever Jim was doing with him, um, all the images, the 35,000 was at Butterfly off that one tower they found
Yeah, I
at the
believe
at the
so.
Northport home at mom and dad's. Um,
Mhm.
35,000 images of
Mhm.
CSAM. None of those were Maddie, but that is a lot,
Right.
for, I guess it's a lot for these dudes to have. Um, hmm, um, I'm sorry, I was looking at chat. I'm just catching up, making sure everything's good. As above, so below. No, it's too late in the day for coffee. Yeah, I've done an early morning show. I just didn't want to get up early this morning. Today's like my only day to relax, and I drink coffee all day, so I wish it was like coffee in the afternoon. Okay, so let me get back to our notes. So, Butterfly, was there any one particular thing that, here's what I want to talk about too, that you saw this week that you wanted to touch on in the case? I don't know if she can hear. Okay, let me get this ready. I haven't been able to, I don't even know if anybody's put it out yet. The audio of this document. Okay. Can you guys see that okay? If you'll let me know in the chat your view, I'd appreciate it because I want to make sure you guys can see it. It is a very sad story. And I've been thinking about that because it's hard to cover at times. But when you look at the big scheme of things and what this man was able to do and how he operated to work his way into this child's life, and to think it's not happening right now to other children. I literally ran across a case yesterday that blew my mind. I called Kimber. I was like, oh my goodness. So this man was married, and the girl was allegedly his stepdaughter. And I say allegedly because they're waiting on DNA apparently to see if she's bio daughter or stepdaughter. He fathered 9 children with that girl and hid it from the world for years. Kids didn't go to school, none of that. It was a crazy situation. They meet a lady in 2017. She's opening businesses. She needs a handyman. She hires him. She becomes a little suspicious. She notices a few things odd here, odd there. She asks a few questions. He pulls away and he stops coming for work. But she never really could put her finger on it or had no proof of anything weird. For work. This time she notices a whole bunch of red flags. And she
Mhm.
asks questions and she starts getting involved. Anyway, she allowed them to live in a home of hers and she began to work with law enforcement. Now he just was
Mhm.
sentenced to 24 years in prison, which to me wasn't enough, for
Right.
grooming the daughter and then fathering all those kids with her and hiding them all these years. It's like, damn, how do people get away with that? Like this day and age. But that goes back to the see something, say something. And this lady said she had wrestled with, do I say something? And then when she really saw what she thought she was seeing, she did act on it. But she also felt super guilty that it took her too long, she thought. Do you know what I mean? But in the
Yeah.
beginning, if you're not sure, what do you do? But anyway, so I feel like it's an important case to talk about sometimes because we do need to be aware of how they operate, just like serial killers. They're psychopaths, you know what I mean? And we got to understand that mind at some point if we're going to understand what red flags to really watch for. You can say watch for the weirdness, watch for the perverted jokes, watch for the things, but what if they're so good at their manipulation game, like most psychopaths are? This is what you get. Do you know what I mean?
Right. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, can you guys hear me? Am
Okay.
I having issues? If y'all can't hear me,
No.
my voice is kind of crazy today. But
Yeah,
like I
I hear
said,
you.
okay. Yeah, I just like need to make sure it's not me about to go down. Okay, so this is one of the
No.
documents that Jennifer, this is her statement out of the document. Um, the interview continued in a path as to find out if Jennifer Soto had any knowledge of the current location of Maddie's body. So they already knew she was deceased, but they didn't quite know where she was. Or if they did know where she was, they weren't telling Jen yet.
Mhm.
So they wanted to know, they were trying to figure out if Jen knew the current location of Maddie. But Jen Soto remained steadfast that she did not know where the body of Maddie was. So if you listen to that conversation, they all knew she was already deceased. And I'm assuming now I see Jennifer did know, but she didn't know where the body was.
Mhm.
Okay? Well, we're going to look at something about that in just a sec. Continued to deny all involvement in regards to having knowledge of the murder, of Maddie's murder, and continued to deny all knowledge of Maddie's victimization by Stearns. During portions of the interview, though, Jennifer continuously protected Stefan Stearns, was questioned about why she prioritizes Stefan Stearns over Madeline, and even at one point referred to the sex stuff as not evil, but the murder of Madeline as evil.
Wow.
That is,
Mhm.
um, Jennifer's also going to be a good case study, I think, because
Yeah.
she sits and writes a lot of interesting things herself. The interview eventually ended, but Jen Soto did not show the same level of emotion of care in regards to Madeline, ongoing victimization by Stefan Stearns that she did her disappearance. Okay, so I'm sorry, I didn't even read that correctly, guys. I apologize. The interview eventually ended, but Jennifer Soto did not show the same level of emotion or care in regards to Madeline. This redacted. And they may misspell a couple things. Ongoing victimization by Stephen Stern. On the ongoing. I can't
Yeah.
read. Thank you. Yeah,
No,
I'm like,
they separated it instead of putting it together.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was me looking at two different. The chat moved on the other screen at the corner of my eye, and I'm like, I can't be glancing over there. It appeared to me that ha, it appeared to me that she has already accepted that the victimization was happening, and her emotion appeared fictitious. That is the most damning statement, I feel like. That now that is the cop's interpretation
Mhm.
of how Jennifer was acting or betraying
Right.
herself, whatever you want to,
Right.
whatever she was. That's what they perceived it. I think I probably would have perceived it the same way if
Definitely.
she, if she is, because those are literally her own words, right? So they're letting her know, we know your daughter's gone. We need to find her body. Do you know where she is? No, I don't know where she is, but I don't have any involvement in that. Is basically what I'm reading. Um, didn't know, continue to deny all knowledge of the victimization, but then you turn around and said the sex stuff wasn't evil.
Right.
So did you know or not know? What are you actually admitting to? Well, I don't know, guys. Dago goes live about twice a day. Y'all can find him. I think he was live last night. He's there. Usually on Sundays, I think he takes family day. That's always important. I took a few of those this week myself.
Yep.
Anyway, that's just like from her, that's just crazy. So then, so I got to thinking about that. Um, in one of the interviews, and I wish I could pull it up right now. And well, I can if I go to my playlist and find it. But they interview Stearns and they're asking him, "Did you guys go anywhere last night?" Meaning Monday they reported her missing. You know, Sunday night, overnight hours, they claimed they didn't go anywhere. And the cop's like, "You sure you didn't go anywhere?" And he's like, "I don't remember going anywhere. You'll have to ask Jen. I was medicated. I don't remember." Okay, well, they did go somewhere. Someone went somewhere. Let me pull that up.
Mhm.
Somebody did. Let me pull that up because I think I have that. Yeah, right here. And I got the notes of the exact times when they did this. Okay, let me put this up there. This is from the one of the CAD reports. And let me know if you guys can see it okay. I think I can go bigger. All right. So this is not going to be in order, but this really what matters is what they wrote right here. Jennifer's Nissan. Well, they know that the day Maddie was reported missing that morning, she didn't go to school. Stearns went out and left her where he left her out at Old Hickory Tree Road. And we know we have the times for that. It was 1:16 p.m. when Stearns was seen at Hickory Tree Road and 13th Avenue and Hickory Tree Road has amazing cameras, and they were seen there so many times. So at 1:16, he's at that location. At 2:11, he comes back to that same intersection, but this time heading back home. 1:16 headed out to where Maddie was found. 2:11 coming back. Daytime, p.m. At 2:43 p.m., he arrives back home through the rear gate in his Lincoln, right? The silver Lincoln.
Mhm.
But then, after midnight, the 27th rolls around. They still hadn't found Maddie yet. So, 3:16 a.m., Jennifer's car leaves the complex through the main gate. At 3:35 a.m., Jennifer's car arrives at Old Hickory Tree Road, the location of Maddie. At 4:09 a.m., that car is seen headed back home at Hickory Tree and 13th Ave. At 4:30 a.m., that car, Jennifer's Nissan, returns home through the rear gate. I wonder who was driving that Nissan at
Mhm.
3 in the morning, going back to where Maddie was found, doing something out there for you arrive at 3:35 and then at 4:09 you're back at the intersection. I'm going to give you about 20 minutes out there. What were you doing? Let me think about that for a minute. In the interview with law enforcement, green hoodie or black shorts, Jen? No, black shorts. You sure? Yeah.
Mhm.
Maddie was found in
Mhm.
blue jeans. Did
Right.
somebody go back out there and try to change that child's clothes? Did they swap her pants out? I don't know why they would when they claimed that she was. Did they go attempt to put black shorts on her and decided better? Because I'm
Right.
really curious to what the hell one of you or both were doing out there during that time period. I find that odd. Well, it's odd to go back to your crime scene. The crime scene was the house. The location where they took the body was there. So why go back?
Right.
I'm
Do they
looking.
have any?
If you
Were
guys
any of
have
them?
any ideas, let
Go
me
ahead.
know. No, if anybody has any ideas, really, I would love to hear your thoughts. Hello, Mr. Steve. Welcome in. Thanks for coming by. I'm
Hello,
usually in the
Mr.
car
Steve.
listening or at home doing something listening, and I just so informative over there. Yeah.
So, do you think either of them were captured on camera at the complex? Who used her car?
Who was coming and going from the car? I
Mhm.
can't figure that out yet because if you notice, we have a lot of video cameras of this car, of these vehicles seen on multiple cameras throughout. There's a whole list right here, you know,
Mhm.
of where these cars were traveling. Um, well, that's when Deb needed her low blood pressure checked. That's what that screenshot is.
Right.
But um, yeah, so there's a lot of cameras, but what we don't see is how Stearns got Maddie from that apartment to that car to start with.
I know. That's been bugging me.
We see them coming and going from the front gate, right? The security guard and sees her in the car. There's a cameras that see Maddie sitting up in the car, seat belted in,
Mhm.
slumped over, all those things. How did he get her, and when did he get her from that apartment to the car
Right.
without? It's dark. I'm gonna assume, and I'm gonna be theorizing. So, in my opinion, she probably entered the vehicle before daylight, and they
Right.
probably had her covered in a way that it wasn't obvious I'm carrying this out. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But do they see him? At one point, she appeared to be slumped over completely, and then at another point, and I got to go back and get those two documents side by side. Then she's upright, seat belted in, head tilted. But when the security guard sees her, her head is, you and I noticed this, remember? In the
Mhm.
documents, her head's tilted to the left. But
Right.
when he goes back, and we also realized he was telling police he had to go back because he lost his or forgot the clicker. But
Right.
according to the security guard's audio interview, when Stefan returned through the front gate, he had his clicker, but he claimed it didn't
Mhm.
work. Maddie was in the passenger seat, or a female was in the passenger seat with a green hoodie on, slumped to the right side with hair
Right.
covering her face and couldn't see her face. So he turned her head and her hair fell over it, or she had the hoodie on. I don't know which one. But he literally turned her face the other direction because it's going one way in one document and camera, going the other way in the other. You're so busted,
Mhm.
dude. So, if they have that and they can see it, it's not out there yet. I don't know how they'd handle that, putting that out. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's pretty damning evidence, and that I don't know. There's no gag order in this case. Even so, I really don't know. Maybe they don't have that. They just see something but don't know, can't prove that's what he's doing.
Right.
on dark, grainy footage. I don't know. They've got some really great license plate readers throughout Florida. They are captured on many of those with the matching their license plates and things like that. Um, we know they have clear images of Maddie in the car. That's how they knew she was already gone before, when Jen and Stefan were still lying about dropping her off at school and all, going missing. They
Mhm.
knew early on all that was a lie. Uh, no, if
Yeah.
you just sent me an email, I don't, I haven't checked email. I have to remind myself to check that email sometimes. If you emailed me under the Salty Sleuth account, I'll check though. Okay, so let's see. When they said they picked her or dropped her off at the church, there is audio in Stern. Let me see if I have that on my. So I was reviewing the audio again the other day, and I always thought it was weird, the church, the church and how they had the footage. And I caught early on what happened and how the police let Jennifer and Stearns tell their little cute story about the church footage being Maddie. Because there was footage and there was a girl at the church. It was never Maddie. The cops even asked Jennifer at one point on camera, "Do you recognize this car?" "No, it's dark, it's grainy, you can't tell." Church sat way back off the road. But Stearns literally, from the get go, told the police he dropped her off across the street from the church on the other side of that highway. She would have had to cross the highway to the church. That's when they think she sat down at the church. And they let Jennifer and her family think that was. We have body cam footage of Jen's sister showing up at the church. They're giving the police officer the footage and they're reviewing it. And all they can literally see is somebody out there, um, appears to be a girl, rummaging around out in the parking lot for a little bit, and then she moves along. They never know who it is. They probably did identify her at some point, but it wasn't Maddie, so it doesn't matter to us. But he lied about, and then him and Jen went to, we dropped her off at the church. But that little piece was never really picked up on until the documents came out, right? And I always thought, man, they started their lies immediately, because you got the now we have the statements to the police from the very first statement to compare to the very first statements made to the media, which almost were within hours of each other. And the lies started right then. And it's so weird. And how I think law enforcement just knew so fast. Looking at chat. Yeah, this. Yeah, I agree. We're wondering now, because there hasn't been charges filed against Jennifer Soto, because the documents tell us how many times she lied during this investigation. That's obstruction of justice, ma'am. That's an automatic charge. We don't have any. We have child neglect, because you've admitted you were allowing things to happen that you probably should not have allowed, that are now questionable. So could you get a neglect charge? Probably, in the state of Florida. We don't have that yet. Why not? They're not going to protect her if they think she's done something. So is there something bigger at play? Does she know way more than we want to believe a mother could? And does she participate in the dissemination of CSAM willingly and knows a lot of things that could bring a lot of people down? If that's the case, I understand why there's been no arrest yet. on Jennifer Soto. That's all alleged and in my opinion. I have no idea, honestly, but yeah, I agree with you. Bring them down, right? She put up a video of some of the raw footage, right? Of, oh, where's my? If y'all guys want to listen to this with me, if you guys want to listen to this with me real quick, it's not too terribly long. So it's raw footage of Jen Soto on February 27th, police interviews. And she just says some interesting things. And I'm just doing this because I'm trying to evaluate her. There's been so much with this case. You kind of got to take your time, and what you did gather, you got to, I want to topic it, put it into topics and talk about it a little bit because it's kind of scattery, a lot of it. And there's a lot of photos to look at that had a lot of interesting things in them that, makes you wonder about what was really going on in that house. And it lends to the theories that you. That's all to me is it's just crazy. And I got more notes, but butterfly, leave me. Did you drop down, or was that me or you?
I don't
It
know.
may,
Just all of a sudden I was gone.
it might have been me trying to pull up something. We'll see. I'm going to attempt to play something. If it decides it doesn't want to play, then it's no big deal. We can just have some talking points. But if you guys want to, uh, hey, where's Joe? I know, I'm not sure. Joe may be busy this weekend. I hope he comes back soon because we do miss him. Hey, Firefly, it's good to see you. I'm glad you came in. Yeah, we've been live for a little bit. We just touched on update on Delphi and Idaho briefly and went into more of these Stearns doc drops. But what I am going to do, guys, is play a little bit of this. Jennifer Soto, like I said, it's the raw interviews. Grizzly True Crime did this without any commentary, because I know that sometimes listening to us gets annoying when we're trying to break it down. Sometimes you guys enjoy it. Y'all know I'll stop and talk if I get a thought. But I'm going to take, while it's playing, go get fresh coffee. So I'm going to let this go. Let me get the screen up. Let me know in chat if you guys can hear it, okay? Pullman Kim, if Dago would like to come over and hang out and chat about the case, he could come do that. I don't know where he's at. Like I said, I think it's Sunday, and I think that's family time, but we're going to go ahead and do this. Let me mute out.
Please note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share.
Again, like I said at the beginning of the show, Grizzly, Plunder, and the docket have put so much work into this case and all these things. Go give them a thumbs up and a shout out. And like I said, thank you, Grizzly. We appreciate your hard work.
Saw her, I'm going to say Sunday night.
Okay.
I heard her Monday getting ready for school.
So you last saw her Sunday night about what time?
I would say 11 p.m. before she went to bed.
And you were here at home?
Yeah.
Gotcha. And where did she go to bed? Was she in her room, your room, or something else?
She actually slept upstairs with, we have a guest bedroom. We were all going to sleep together in the same bed, but I needed some good sleep. And I I got a new job recently. I haven't been well rested. I needed some sleep. So I asked, hey, can you guys go to the guest bedroom upstairs? I knew he was going to get her ready. And
Sorry. Okay, so you needed some good sleep. So was it about 11 o'clock?
yeah, I sent them upstairs and I went to bed.
Okay. And that was about 11?
Yeah.
And do you guys normally all sleep together? Because I know you said that she sleeps in your room with you typically, right?
She sleeps with me typically. Typically when he comes into town, because he lives with his parents in Northport, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
When he comes to town, he'll sleep in the guest bedroom.
Okay.
I need to interrupt this for just one little second. I want to read something to myself again so I can make sure I've just read this correctly. Pullman Kim, I'm not sure who you are or why you're here. If you're trying to discuss anything other than Madeline Soto's case, Florida versus Stefan Stearns, you can gracefully bow out right now. And if not, it'll be took care of in about 2 seconds. So chill out.
And Stefan is the one you're referring to, right?
Yeah, Stefan Stearns.
Stefan. How often does he stay here?
Oh, he moved away back in December, so I'm going to say he's visited at least 2 to 3 times since then.
Okay. Why did he move away?
He was offered his dad had offered him a job, but it fell through.
Oh.
So
okay.
now we're trying to get him back here.
And he just visits?
Yeah.
When he visits, does he stay for like hours, days, weeks?
I would say days. This time we had planned on him staying a whole week because I was going through training at work. So I wanted him to be here to help me with the dog, help me with the training.
Okay, so this time he was planning to stay for a week. How long has he been here? Or when did he arrive, rather, this time?
I can't remember if he arrived Saturday or Sunday morning.
Okay, that's fine. Sometime this weekend?
Yeah.
So that was last night around 11. And so about what time did you hear her on Monday morning?
I heard everyone getting ready around, I'm going to say 7:30, 8 o'clock.
And was it just Steph? Who else lives here?
I have roommates.
Okay.
I have Angelica Negro. There's one roommate, and then Natalie Rosero.
Okay. And you just heard all of them, or did you hear anyone in specific?
No, I just heard, if anything, Stefan came and woke me up accidentally because he was trying to let the dog out.
Mm-hmm.
And the dog gets really nervous sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to help him with that, get him on his leash. But he got him situated and took him for a walk.
Okay. Did you hear around 7 or 8?
I heard noises in the kitchen, but I'm not sure,
Not sure who it was exactly.
Who it was exactly, yeah.
Gotcha.
It could have been any of the roommates.
But you didn't see her leave Monday morning. Were you still in bed or still in your room?
I was still asleep, yeah.
Gotcha. What time does she normally leave for school?
We usually leave around 8:50 at the latest.
Okay. What time does she have to be to school by?
9:28 is when school starts.
Gotcha. And so I think you had said the previous.
Yeah.
And take her in the
Yeah.
morning? Okay.
And they were going to stop at McDonald's and get breakfast, but she changed her mind last minute and did not want McDonald's.
Okay. When'd you find that out?
When did I find that out? When Stefan called me around 10:18 in the morning, I had stepped out to go get blood work done.
Mm-hmm.
And he had just let me know that he just got back home from running a few errands. And that I asked, did you guys ever just stop at McDonald's? And he said, no, she changed her mind. He tried convincing her a few times, but she did not want McDonald's anymore.
What time did you leave the house yesterday in the morning? Or what time did you step out, rather?
Okay. I can promise y'all one thing, and this does not affect the people who are here to watch true crime. This is going to be directed at the people in my chat right now who don't got the fucking balls to come in under their original account. You want to talk about screaming and yelling? Honey, you ain't heard me scream and yell yet. Because I don't need to scream and yell to get my point across. Now, was I a little hot the other night? Did I come in a little hot? Maybe. Y'all don't know why I was so hot. My internet went down, unfortunately. Because I try to live a peaceful life in the countryside versus that city with all that freaking noise. That little girl on that screen right there, isn't it weird that's where I had to stop this video at? I will go to bat for these victims any time of the day or night. When you want to roll, baby, let's roll. You can't step to this backyard swagger. If y'all want to bring it, you better bring it hard. Because when I come with damn receipts. I can back up everything I can tell you about a certain somebody. But if society wants to walk through the world in the dark, that is on them, not me. Fight your own battles, leave me the hell alone, but don't bring your personal bullshit to these victims' lives and then use them. Any of y'all. So these little accounts that want to come in here talking about Dago, I'm talking about Madeline receiving justice. I had every right to come out and speak out on my channel about something that was really bothering me when I time and time again see a pattern of behavior that affects people dear to my heart, the friends I make in the true crime community, the real true crime community, not that crime bullshit. I don't even watch that stuff. I couldn't tell you what's going on over there in all that realm. I have no idea. I didn't even know none of them existed until Sebastian Rogers' case came along. And I was force-fed it on YouTube all damn day. I had to go start watching Dateline repeats just so my algorithm would stop. And get real knowledge on real cases and stuff that's like actually happened. And apply that to the cases I review. Evidence videos are out there on freaking bullets, tires, grainy footage, cell phone data. My brain is constantly looking to educate itself, not sit on the back porch and sip a cup of coffee and gossip with my neighbor. It's never been who I am, and it will never be who I am. I'm just not that person. But don't piss me off, and don't go behind my back and tell lies about why I'm upset, because that's not cool either. But we can't have two sides of that conversation. We can only hear the one. And it speaks volumes, apparently, because it's been getting away with the same shit for a long, 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 long time. And I'm going to drop it right there. But do not bring that nonsense to my chat. I don't have but a few viewers any damn way. I don't need those 50 hanger-oners over there. I promise you that. Because what I'm building here is not that. So with that said, I apologize, chat. I apologize, anybody trying to catch this on the replay. We're going to go back to covering Maddie's case now, listening to this bizarre mother who cannot see red flags to save her damn life, apparently.
I'm gonna say around 9:30.
Had Stefan returned at all?
No.
So you were there from, just so I have my times kind of right, so you woke up around 7 or 8. You saw Stefan, because you helped him with the dog, because he was letting the dog out, right?
Yeah.
And then did you go back to sleep, or were you just kind of in the room?
I laid back down and went back to sleep.
Okay. And then, do you remember what time you woke up after that?
I believe I set my alarm for 9 a.m.
Gotcha. So it would have been around 9 a.m. that you woke up. And in that time, you didn't see Stefan return at all? Okay. You left around 9:30, and then Stefan called you around 10 to say he got home?
Yeah.
Cool. Got it. Okay. Did he say anything else aside from she didn't want to go to McDonald's?
About her, no. About his morning, yes. He had tried going to the vape shop when it opened right after he dropped her off from school and waited, but they never opened on time. So he came back, hung out a little bit. He came home around 10 and then went back out eventually to the vape store to go get some vape stuff.
So he left after 10. What time did you get back home?
Something I noticed that they kept repeating, both of them, Jen and Stearns, that damn vape shop. Remember when we heard Stefan's interview about going to he was all confused about the McDonald's and all that, but that vape store, no, we knew exactly where to go, but we didn't know what time it opened. Remember, he got out there and then he had to go back because it was closed. Then he went back. And then when Jennifer's interviewed in one of the sessions that she's interviewed in, and it may be this one that we're about to listen to, where she tells them about the vape store, but she wants to point out that she's going to pull the name up, and the cop tells her, oh, we can get the name in a few minutes. Let's finish the conversation. But pretty much, and she's like, oh, but you can go there and get the camera. That is the only time Stearns does mention at one point about, is there any cameras that can see Maddie? But I think he was just being nosy about what they knew about him. Do you see me out there? But it stuck out to me. I think that was part of their plan.
Yeah, and it's so weird that she knew about that camera, but she couldn't recall of any camera that could have caught her daughter besides the church.
Right? That is so true, because she's hyper focused on this damn vape store, and that if you go get that camera footage, you're gonna see Stefan on that footage. Is basically is exactly what she told them. And I thought, that's so super interesting, considering he points out that vape store and how it was closed and he had to go back and setting up did they think that was the only store the only camera in Orlando, Florida? Idiots.
For real. Yeah. I still believe he went back so that they could discuss and get their story straight, rather than him texting her and calling her to get that done.
Oh yeah, they met. She had to go to that blood appointment, right? He didn't go out there to dispose of Maddie's body until after her blood appointment.
Yeah.
And I got to go back and get the document where he's in the parking garage transferring Maddie from the front seat to the trunk, and exactly what time that, because I am working on this timeline build like I promised you guys I would, because it's hard to follow their tracks and to
Right.
figure out what they did unless you lay it out times,
Are you there?
and then
Okay.
you can
You
see
kind of went out a little bit.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I really want to. Yeah, there's just so much you can figure out just from these two. So I'm gonna hit play
Mhm.
again.
For the day.
Let me check something. I'm going to check what time my blood work appointment is at. I'll give you more of an accurate time.
Yeah.
Okay, so my appointment was at 10:15 and it took them 45 minutes to see me. So I didn't get home until 11:15, 11:30.
And was Stefan back at that point in time?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
I can't remember.
And then what did the day look like after that? It's fine.
So I did my blood work, then I came back, and then I just waited. I waited for the rest of the day until 2:30 to leave. Well, I wait in the car line, so I'm first in line to pick her up.
Yeah, that car line can be vicious. So you left approximately 2:30.
Yeah.
And pickups around 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now when you got there at 4, then what happened?
I waited in the car line for about 10 minutes, and she never came out. So I thought maybe I missed her. I couldn't remember if I told her I was picking her up from school that day or if she had to walk to the office.
Okay.
So I went to the office to see if she made it. She never did. I drove around a little bit.
Okay.
I drove around a little bit, looking for her. I went back to the school. The school was closed at this point. I wanted to speak to somebody at the office to see if anybody could tell me if she had been there. I think at this point I had called, before I went to the school, I actually called her best friend and I said, with you, I can't find her. She didn't walk to the office and she wasn't at school when I went to pick her up. She said she never made it. She's it's a first or second period. And I'm like, what do you mean? I dropped her off. We dropped her off close to school. And she said she didn't make it to first or second period. I said, please check with the rest of your friends. She did. She got back to me, said none of them saw her today. I emailed one of her teachers. Her teacher texted me her attendance for the whole day and told me she wasn't in school at all. That's when I knew something was wrong. And I freaked out.
Okay. Is it typical of to walk to after school?
If I'm working, yes.
And where I mean, in relation to the school, like, is it a close walk, long walk?
It's a very close walk.
Okay. So typically in the morning, if, or I guess before Stefan moved, did he live with y'all? So it's typical of him to be able to get her ready in the mornings and drop her to school. Do y'all tend to split that responsibility, or what does that look like?
Typically, I do it.
Okay.
This morning, because because of my work schedule, because I've been so exhausted, I asked him to take over and do it, and he said he would.
Okay. Has he done it before though? Like is he familiar with how to drop her off? And
I'm gonna say he's done it once or twice before. I'm not too sure.
okay.
Yeah, Glitter, we do have some videos out there already of, well, body cams, right? And you can see Jen talking to the police, and I am collecting all those up and getting the best. I can probably go get them now off Patreon, but I'm working on getting those so we can review them and look at her while she's talking, because I like to do that as well. And these photos that are being shown that Grizzly's popping up in the background, all of those are crime scene photos from the apartment or the condo, whatever you want to call it, that they're taking photos. I think there was, I don't even remember how many photos, and I know that 30 more just came down the other day. But so that's what they're doing. There were just so many of them. Gathering the photos alone and putting them in order for everybody to see has been difficult and time consuming. So she's trying to give you the audio uncut without commentary and the photos as well. Now, Jen's little timeline of events and how things normally happen in her home are super interesting. And because a lot of you may not have heard, if you've been following the case for a long time, you know a lot of this stuff, but some of you may not be familiar with it and wondering why are people saying this about this mother, because from the very beginning, this mother gave us pause, to say the least. A lot of people did come in hot right in the beginning, but she went missing the same day as Sebastian Rogers. People immediately went to both of the moms, right? So I was like, I want to take pause for a minute. But when you see the stuff she did, like within 24 hours of the disappearance, you're like, whoa, red flags. Like right here. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to let this play for a few minutes, guys. If you guys have any questions along the way, or if you don't know something, drop us a message in the chat here, and I'll try to respond.
In the time since he's been back, well, not this time because he's only come back over the weekend, but in the other times, he's done it maybe once or twice.
I'm gonna say yeah.
Is there any reason that he dropped her off a block away instead of dropping her off to the school?
Because she asked. Because she is embarrassed of his car.
Really? When did she express that?
Multiple times when we've been like, okay, I think Stefan might take you to school, or he might pick you up. She goes, can he pick me up far away? Can he leave?
Now, you know what's interesting about that? Stefan rarely took her to school. Rarely. Jennifer, you said that.
Yep.
Now, on the times that he needed to take her, she didn't want to be seen in his car. Well, that car he was driving wasn't his car. It was his daddy's. Normally, he would have had his car, and it's parked over there in Northport, Mommy and Daddy's driveway, in Dad's own words, needing a lot of work because Stefan refused to take care of the car. So when he needed to return back to Kissimmee this particular week, it was to go help Jen train the dog. So he drove the Lincoln, Dad's Lincoln, which he referred to as the poodle ambulance.
And didn't he say in his own interview that she didn't like to be seen in his car? I think he said that the same thing.
Yes, he didn't. The hoopty. And the cop says, now when you say hoopty, you mean, he's like, yeah, she didn't want to be seen in the old car.
Yeah.
Well, the only photo I have of your old car, and I think it was a little rice burner from back in the day, so I don't think it may still be your current car for real. I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't even think I've seen a picture of it yet, but I got a picture of his little yellow car and what he looked like at the time he had that car, and it's like, oh, dude. So yeah, so they were already setting up a story, in my opinion. She didn't want to be
Mhm.
seen in his car, so he had a habit of dropping her off down the street. He didn't have a habit of taking her at all, and
Right.
she has stated that multiple times. So yeah.
Leave me here. Like I don't want to be seen. I'm just like,
What car was he driving? I'm curious.
it's that Buick.
Okay.
But to her, that's an old
But no.
car.
Hmm. Can you remember anything about Sunday or Saturday or this weekend where she may have said that she was wanting to hang out with friends or something she was wanting to do or anything?
On Sunday, she actually had a party
Uh,
and she had some friends come over.
Mhm.
So she hasn't expressed that she wanted. She actually got to spend time with friends and family. She had a great Sunday.
Okay.
She came back with a lot of presents. She was super happy.
Okay. So no arguments at home recently or anything?
No, nothing like that.
Everything, as long as she's been ever gone off to spend time by herself or gone to hang out at a park by herself or something to kind of clear her own head?
So there's a lake right behind this building.
Mhm.
She'll sometimes sit at the dock or by the lake, but I check on her often.
Okay. I'm just trying to figure out, I mean, if she, I don't know if something at school upset her, something here upset her. Not that it would be anyone's fault, but if there's somewhere that she may go for, like, peace of mind.
Yeah, it would be the lake right behind the house.
Does she do any extracurriculars?
No.
These photos were taken by law enforcement. Glitter. Yeah. The I can't talk right this second. The creators that were releasing them put their stamp on them, but these are all taken by law enforcement, and there were 800 photos alone that we know of. And like I said, 30 more just came down the other day. So sometimes they did a really good job on these photos, sometimes they didn't. So what she's done is she's put the photos in the background as the audio from Jen's interview happens.
Got it. Now your roommates, I know you told me their names earlier, but can you give them to me again? I didn't write them down.
Sure. Angelica. And then Nigro, Nigro.
Uh-huh.
And then
Mhm.
Nathalie, which is Nathalie.
Mhm.
I noticed that glitter as well, and I was like leaning into that photo, like that was weird. So good catch, because I saw that too. I think it was one of the technicians. I think that's what I've concluded.
Rosero.
ROSERO. Okay. Do you have their phone numbers by chance? If they're not here. Are you okay? Do you have to use the bathroom?
No, I'm just anxious.
Oh, okay.
I've got anxiety. Let me see. Where is? Okay, Angelica, she primarily speaks Spanish, so you probably need a Spanish speaker.
Got it.
Yeah, if y'all are, sometimes you might hear something in the background. It's coming from the audio from the police audio. And when you hear the blank silence, that's them redacting things that Jennifer's saying. Like Maddie, there a lot of all throughout all of these, the name Maddie is redacted, which also takes a whole bunch of time. They took 4 months to wait on this set of doc drops. So when you hear it, go silent for a minute. That's probably what is happening. That's just redacted, and everything's turned up. And Grizzly does a pretty good job of trying to clean the noise up as best as possible. Now, not to say I do got to swamp signals. If y'all start to have issues, let me know.
And then Natalie. Got it. All right. When's the last time you got in any kind of trouble at home?
I'm gonna say a few weeks ago.
What was that for?
I don't think if she gets a yelling or if she gets in trouble for anything, it's for her disorganization and messiness. How she leaves laundry on the floor,
Okay.
her room's a mess. She keeps her space very disorganized. So I kind of get on top of her. Do I remember the actual argument? No. When I went through her text messages back on February 2nd or 3rd, she had expressed to a friend that, I was crazy. I was acting,
Yeah.
being nuts.
Almost stuff to say.
Yeah, apparently I don't remember this in this conversation. I remember saying this once, but not in February. But she had said, if she continues to behave this way or not listen, when she turns 18, I'm not going to want to live with her.
Okay.
Or also, I would ship her off to her dad's.
Oh.
But I never.
Where does your dad live?
Houston, Texas.
Okay. Has she ever expressed wanting to go back and live with them?
No.
How often does she see him or talk to him at all?
Talks to him once in a while.
Via phone or probably?
Yeah, via phone, yeah.
Okay.
Text message or Instagram, they'll message each other. But I talked to him last night and she's like, just so you're aware, she hasn't said anything about making plans to come over here or see me or come visit me, so he doesn't have any information on where she might be.
Okay.
He's actually willing to come over here too if we need him to.
Okay. But she's never made any plans, I guess, to go see him.
No.
What's her dad's name? Do you know his phone number?
So I think it's this one. It's
And he lives in Texas.
in Houston, yeah.
How long has he lived? Or how long?
He was in the military way. Either it's Kansas.
Guys, I'm on my PC and I'm literally wearing a headset that costs $11.88 at Walmart. And I hear better on these than without them on this desktop. And I hear the crackling in the backgrounds. And unfortunately, it's coming from the audio from law enforcement. So if you're having a problem, I really do apologize. People have done the best they can with the audio so that it can be as clear as possible. So I don't know what will work best for you guys, Bluetoothing in, hardwiring, whatever you choose to use is, I don't know.
I'm on Bluetooth.
Or-
and I don't hear
Oh, so he's never
crackling.
had any like custody or...
Yeah, good. I used to Bluetooth, but I bought these when I started going live, and my kid buys expensive one. He Xbox games, but I was like, nah, that's not me. I'm gonna go get this $11 one and roll with it. And so far, so good. Here we are.
anything with her?
Nothing.
Okay. And has she ever formed a relationship with him where they bonded and talk or anything that like she... I guess I would try to rule out the possibility that she would be trying to go to Texas and see him or meet up with him or...
They're as close as they can be with how limited contact he does have with her. He text her once in a blue, right?
No.
Not
Okay.
as consistent as I would like him to, but
Okay.
I don't think she's making her move to go.
Yeah.
She's left her debit card here. All of her money's here.
She normally have it.
She's got ADHD. She's very forgetful. This happens often.
Oh, so she frequently forgets her things.
Yeah.
Okay. Um. As far as her mental diagnosis, she's diagnosed with ADHD. How long has she had ADHD?
Since she was like 5, 6. They also diagnosed her at the same time with autism. So she's had an autism diagnosis for a few years now. I've reassessed her recently. They told me she had some autistic traits, but they weren't sure if she was autistic.
So, I mean, do you ever notice her mental capacity impacting her ability to, I guess, be around other kids or function normally?
I would say sometimes, because she acts. I'm not sure. Sometimes she'll make some decisions that I'm just like, where did that come from? Like,
I mean, is that like, would that be a result of a mental disability, or would that be like a result of her being? I mean, does she? I guess like basic questions I always kind of ask her: can she feed herself without assistance? Does she shower and bathe without assistance? I mean, she has a phone, so she can text and talk to people. She has friends at school. Gotcha. And has she ever complained about school?
Not complained exactly. I know it's tough on her. She's given a lot of work. She's always behind on work.
Okay. Got it. And I think the deputies already last night kind of went through her social media a little bit, but if you're okay with it, I'd actually like to take her phone so that I can see if I can get anything else from it. Typically me being able to go through it and go through text and social media will help me sort of establish a pattern of where people go and whatnot. If that's something you'd let me do.
Sure. Will you take her phone away forever, or just for right now?
Just for as long as I need it to actually go through it. So I'll give it back to you as soon as I'm done. As soon as we find her, I'll give it back to her, hopefully. Yeah, I mean, that's just about all the questions I have at the moment. You know her better than I do. I guess my last thing would be like, what do you think based off of everything that we've talked about and everything that you've learned so far? Is anything sticking out to you?
Based off of everything, me knowing her and knowing how she is, and how tight-knit we are, like, I don't think she would run away.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she was taken, like, on that short walk from where she was dropped off to the school. It was early in the morning. I'm not sure how many cars were around.
Mm-hmm.
I think she was dropped off somewhere between 8:30 and 8:45 in the morning, which is earlier than we normally take her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I want to say, I think from what I understood, Orange County got footage of someone by the church in a description of what she was wearing early that morning,
Mm-hmm.
just hanging out in the parking lot, and then she got up and left.
Yeah, so the video, they wrote it here, but there was a video of essentially what looks like her at around 8:45, just about that time, walking into that church parking lot that's right near where she got dropped off by Stefan. And it looks like she sits there for about 15 minutes or so and then walks away. So
I'm wondering if it's typical for her to wait at that parking lot too for my stepdad to pick her up from school, so it's not abnormal for her to hang out there.
In that parking lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, after listening to that again, it kind of made me think that law enforcement was letting them think these things because they wanted to see where they would go with it. Do you know what I mean?
Yep,
That's the
I
way it
think so
appears
too.
to me. Yeah, and something I noticed when these photos first came out, when we knew they went up to room 4. We were told that in the
Hmm.
documents and the audio that I sent them to bed in room 4. So room 3 is right here in the very back, and right here to the right, with the door opening, that's the opening to room 4. And I immediately noticed that giant chain hanging on that door from the
Yep,
inside. And
yep. I
so
saw
I've got I've got the other photos. I'm gonna put together this evening, guys. I'm gonna sit down and get the photos. I got some I'm gonna show you in a little bit, but I want to get them all together. But there's from inside of this room, and then they're facing the door from the inside. And you can see when she shut that door, you just put that giant chain lock on it. Like,
it.
I get you if you got a roommate situation going on, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know if these other doors had this. You can't tell from these angles. And I haven't seen, I need to look. Because you would think if you're renting this place out and you're renting out rooms, because remember, Stern's father said he was paying $600 a month for Stearns to maintain this bedroom.
Yeah.
And that's why he was like, enough's enough. You move back home with me and mom. I'm not paying that $600 anymore. Because prior to that, he was paying less than that. The dad was paying it, not Stefan. Stefan paid half of that amount, which was $300, because he and Jen shared a room.
Right.
And then when they broke up and Stefan took on his own bedroom, his rent went to $600. And then dad's like, no, enough of that. Come home.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a job. And the interesting thing about that is when that was December. Was it November or December? Do you recall right off?
No. I have to go
November, I
back.
think. Yeah. Because he was literally only gone for a very short time. It wasn't
Mm-hmm.
like he was gone for a long-term time. When
I
in the
think
big scheme of
December.
things, yeah.
I think it was
And
December.
by February, Maddie's gone, so he was not even
Mm-hmm.
gone that long. And she said 3 to 4 visits, and if you go look at 2 months he was gone, he visited a couple times a month, both months he was gone. So he never left that house, basically. And
Yeah.
during that time, Maddie was asleep in class, laying her head down, doing all the things. But I don't know, there's a lot to unfolding before our eyes, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these
So,
rooms are so close together. It's like, how do they? I was gonna
I
say, how do they not hear anything? But then again, if he's, giving her stuff to,
the pattern
yeah.
emerged.
Hmm.
Uh, hold on, let me catch up with chat. Oh, Glitter, you're fine to talk so much in chat. I was outside having a cigarette, looking at your comments, and you've made a couple I would like to hit on. Yeah, Snapchat Super Kim. That is such an interesting name. I don't know. Go over there and chat with Dago and ask him later. Doodle, do your thing, because that's a troll account, and we both know it. If you're still here, if not, you can hang out all you want. Snapchat Super Kim. And if you're actually WSU Mom Kim, like for real, not just some troll account like I think you are, you're welcome to DM me on the Discord, and I'll give you a link and we'll have a conversation one day, because I would love to interview you. You're an astonishing case study. I'll leave it at that. So before I lose my train of thought, and I want to get back to Maddie's case.
Can you think of any reason why she might have chosen yesterday morning to wait there? I mean, obviously your stepdad's not picking
Yeah, he
her up
wasn't
in the
picking her
morning.
up.
but
I wonder if she knew, like, if she had an idea she was super early, so she was just trying to kill time a little bit. But I don't know.
Okay, so Doodle, if you can't see that account named Snapchat Super Kim, then they've blocked you. I can see them in some because I'm gonna tell you what, there's only a few people that would go completely out of their way to protect the ringleader who's bringing in the cash that we all like to share. Not me. They. Let me make this perfectly clear. You're not going to come over here into a legitimate true crime channel and bring you drama, especially with a messed up name like that in my chat, dishonoring for college students who were murdered by somebody. Take it elsewhere. I'm not over here arguing with nobody, doing anything, stealing content, robbing people, begging for money to pay my goddamn bills. Not doing it over here. Shit, we're trying to review something. But you're going to come in here and block my one and only mod because I probably got 14 people watching. And I don't need nobody but her. I trust her and her alone. Because the rest of the mods I see out there, I do not trust. Never have. So only a few hardcore supporters are going to be willing to come in here and do what y'all been doing for the past 30 minutes. Because a grown-ass man got butt hurt with yet another loudmouth woman from the South who has totally misunderstood a situation and got jealous over some YouTube shit that didn't even fucking happen, dude. This ain't about no YouTube drama. It's about robbing good people over and over and over and hurting people I grow close to in this community and confusing the shit out of them with your misinformation that come out of that channel about Idaho 4. Now you done got me started and triggered, and I've allowed that to happen. That is my bad, because I said it wasn't going to happen again. But you're crossing the line when you come over here with y'all's bullshit, because there's victims involved. I don't really give a fuck who y'all rob and steal from to feed each other. Not my business anymore. I don't want no part of it. Anybody who continues to support that nonsense, knowing it is happening and knowing there's receipts to back it all up, you need to go look in the mirror. Now, I'm going to go back to Maddie's case because I feel myself reaching a level where I'm probably going to stop and get off the damn YouTube. And y'all ain't running me off out of here with your little triggers, because unlike y'all, I can check myself and maybe control my PTSD, because I just got triggered. And something Glitter said a few minutes ago. She wishes Jen would stop with the ADHD. Me too, honey. Me too. Quit taking away from the people who legitimately have stuff like that. Quit using that for your excuse for everything under the damn sun that you do. Forget my phone, forget this, forgot that, forgot I had to do this, all these things, can't do, Me neither. I rarely sleep. My eating habits could be a whole lot better, but I've got a lot of nervous energy, so I eat a lot small throughout the day, because I understand what I got to do. You know, I'm willing to do the work, so I don't come on here and be triggered by dumbasses, because I'm on my new motto, and I'm going to have to make me a banner, because I've been saying it for 3 months since Sebastian case blew up. Forrest Gump's mama wasn't wrong. You can't fix stupid, and I ain't fixing to try. It's not my job. I'm not the YouTube police, and I'm not a call-out channel. I'm a true crime channel. Thank you, and that's all I'm going to say. Now let's carry on with our presentation of a crazy lady who cannot see the red flags even after 8 freaking years, I'm assuming. Yeah.
And she says her and Maddie were so tight.
Yeah. I bet you were, since your Stern's father says you couldn't keep a job, Jen. you know, because you got that ADHD and stuff, you cannot work, got your disability. Stearns couldn't keep a job, but yet they were both spending money. And when Stearns went back home, back when he was forced to move back home to mommy and daddy, the deaf old people and the poodles, he was receiving packages all the time, his mom said. Like all the time. And they're like, where's he getting this money? So I theorize he was making money off of this little girl, and so was she. Theory only, in my opinion.
Why she didn't go directly to the school. Like,
Yeah.
She should have.
Okay.
I know when Stefan dropped her off, he said that he saw her rummaging through her phone as he drove away, like deeply looking into not her phone,
Her
sorry,
backpack.
her backpack.
Yeah.
I'm assuming she was looking for her phone and realized she didn't have it with her at that time.
Got it.
But
Okay. Does she have any kind of boyfriend or significant other at school that she's ever talked about or expressed?
no boyfriend. She did recently tell Stefan that she had a crush on a boy.
Oh, okay.
And we saw messages between them, and nothing seemed weird. But you can
Okay.
look through that as well. His
Thank
name
you.
is
I assume another middle school boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. All right. Well, that is all the questions I have for you right now. I'm going to go ahead and end this, and I'll just get one more quick thing from you. 11:44 hours.
Are you guys talking to Stefan out here?
Yeah, they're right out there. They just wanted to ask him a couple things, but I figured I'd just ask you this at the same time for the sake of time.
And see, that's the opening to, that's from the inside, and the door's open, and that was the room 4, where she said that she sent her daughter to bed the night before she went missing with Stefan. And even in this last little bit there, I think the next one is like her talking to one of the female cops. Just the things that she says about Maddie are constant, you know, and it's like she almost blames Maddie at every turn for everything. And all this anxiety that Maddie allegedly had, I think was created by Jennifer and Stearns as part of their grooming. And because Maddie needed human contact to sleep. Maddie had anxiety. Maddie was forgetful. Maddie was all the things and couldn't function without these two, according to them. And he was her go-to person. So when her and Jen did argue or whatever, he became that person. And I believe that from what I've seen so far, and this is what my theory on from what I've read, when he began, because authorities have on his phone, they were able to recover a video from when she was very young. And that to me, that's 7 or younger. Like I said, possibly 6.
Right.
But there's a video of her wanting to play the game on the phone. And he says, well, and he's recording this shit. Well, in order for you to play this game, you need to do this. And she does it to get the phone.
Yeah.
That's how the grooming started. So over time, when she's little, she doesn't realize what's happening is even wrong.
Right.
But as she gets older, she's starting to realize. Is that when the drugs came into play? Going back to what you said about those rooms being close together and not hearing things.
Right.
Because it even says in a lot of the videos when they recovered the 1,500 images and videos of Maddie off his phone, she appeared to be asleep during the assaults. So those are the more recent assaults as she got older. So I think at some point she began to not want to do that anymore. So did he have to resort to drugging her, giving her, even in one of the documents, when the teacher approaches Jen about Maddie's behavior at school, about being tired and not paying attention and all the things, Jennifer says, oh, well, you're seeing her in her natural state because I forgot to give her medication. Like, what, one day? It's not going to do that. 2 days, a week? Do we go all summer without it? What are we talking about here? And then one of the other documents, Stearns, and I think it was, oh wow, if this was from the night Maddie passed, I I already want to know the toxicology report. I'm not going to lie. I need to know because he was doing. He did a crazy search 2 weeks prior to Maddie's death.
Right. About the
Steel medication.
mm-hmm.
Do you recall what it was? I don't remember the name of it, but it's like a crazy medical name. But
Yeah.
he researched an anesthesia medication 2 weeks prior to Maddie's death on Google, and you can breathe it, like, you know, and there was a couple ways you could administer it. But anyway, they were texting each other. I just learned this through the recent, I don't even have the document yet. Apparently, so she sends them to bed at what, 10:30ish. She gets home by 11. I think she sends them off to bed by 11:30.
Yeah.
She's texting him, is she ready for bed? Yes. I think that's when he tells her, I doubled her medicine. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
If it was a different night the night before, why would you? Firefly, it was, that doesn't seem, it was like veterinarians can use it as well.
But why did he have to get her to bed? She's 13. She can
Well, according
capable
to
of
these
getting
two,
herself to bed.
yeah, according to these two, you had to remind Maddie. Jennifer says that Maddie would spend an hour in the shower and you wouldn't even realize. Now, it wasn't ketamine, it was something else, Firefly. I've got Grizzly True Crime and Plunder say the name of it, and it's, I want to say it began with an S.
Yeah, I was
But,
thinking that too.
Yeah, the hydroxyzine was a different medication they had. Maddie was taking for her anxiety. A lot of kids get put on that medication. It's really a freaking antihistamine, but okay. They've been using it for years. Vistarol, however you want to pronounce it, is one of the things. But that she was taking. But so he doubled up medication for some reason.
It was sevoflurane.
There you go. That one. Say that again.
Sevoflurane. Sevoflurane.
Benadryl, the Vistaril, there's a medication called Vistaril, and it's hydroxyzine, and it is prescription, and it is an antihistamine, but it has been prescribed in America for years for anxiety. But in my opinion, if you have legit anxiety, it makes it worse because you become stimulated, right? Like it's too much, and it doesn't work for panic attacks and things of that nature. So I'd never, but I know for a fact in Florida, a lot of kids are put on that medication, especially for their ADHD. I was shocked when I began to realize what was happening. So I'm a little, yeah, but they were mishandling you can see it time and time again in the documents that they're mishandling her medication. They would not give it to her, forget to give it to her. Maddie told friends that she stopped taking her meds on Valentine's Day because she was tired of feeling tired. And I think what was happening was they were using their own method, or he was at least using his own method to induce sleep in her, that she thought it was her own medication causing all of that, because they're telling her that's your medication causing you to feel this way, right? And so by the time she gets to school the next day, after being drugged all night, that stuff's still in her system. All these teachers talk about it, and we have I'm trying to get it all together for you guys, but the teachers talk about it in their audio recordings with law enforcement of how she was laying her head down in class, needing to go to the nurse. She's having anxiety. The child did not understand what was happening. But one thing also became crystal clear. Maddie was plotting her way out when she turned 13, and the child just had her 13th birthday. All she wanted was money. She was upset because she didn't get enough money. And she was dead serious when she said she was going to live in those woods. Her friend even asked her, how are you going to build a house? I'll get money. The friend said Maddie was upset at the party because she didn't think she received enough money for her birthday. And when I was realizing the story that I was unfolding, I literally, guys, I had to step away from the case for a few days and just, and I knew there was a bunch of documents dropping, and I was like,
It became
like I said,
overwhelming for
yeah,
Megan
it
a lot.
did, didn't it? You and I were chatting in the DMs every time one of us would
Mm-hmm.
see something new, or like, did you see this? Did you see that? And we've been
Right.
wanting to bring some of this out to you guys and talk about it. And but it got overwhelming for a second when we began to realize what was unfolding, and Maddie's story of what was happening to her. And
Mm-hmm.
it made me you really hit home, not home, but it hit hard because I know there's other kids out there, and if we can figure out how these guys operate is the biggest thing.
Right.
They got to know how to get into your life. And I'm not blaming parents or mothers or fathers that are single parents, because
No.
even if Jim was completely blindsided, there was just too much at this point to think otherwise, but it does legitimately happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
We can't say that every parent is absolutely aware of what's happening to their child, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen when they're not there. I know of one case where the guy had the Life 360. He knew every time the other adult was out of the house where that other adult was at all times. He could conduct what he wanted to do in private, and nobody was home because he could see where they were the entire time. It came out in the court documents. That's what he was doing.
Right.
And I was like, damn, these people are good. So, with that said, learning how they operate and work their way in and find the vulnerable that they can do that to, and making sure you don't become a victim to it is like the best thing you could try to do for yourself.
Mm-hmm. But I think in this case, it's just when you start reading the documents and the reports, and then you hear the audio, and we haven't even seen videos yet of like her demeanor, the discrepancies, and how she says they're tight knit. Well, if they're that tight knit, then you should notice more. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Firefly, it probably works better in the kids than it would adults. I don't know. I know it don't work for adults who legit have it, because it just doesn't work. But there are a lot of kids in the state that do get prescribed it. I'm not saying it's not a good medication, because I know you, and my friend's got a very knowledgeable background. She knows what she's talking about. That's why I'm highlighting her. She's my
Mm-hmm.
checks and balances girl. When I'm falling off a ledge, I got a few of them that know how to reel me back in.
Right.
She's one of my.
Right.
She's an OG. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah, I love her. But so I'll let this play for a few more minutes, guys. How long have I been doing this? I don't even know. I don't keep up with none of that. 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's still some time left in this one. Let's let her talk to this lady. The female cop doesn't play around. You know what I mean? She
Right.
makes them stick to the points, and especially when she did Stern's interview, I just was like, I was amazed. Like, this
Mm-hmm.
girl's so professional. I loved it. But
Yeah.
I'll let it play for a few more minutes, and then we'll stop, and we're gonna review a little bit of photos, and then I'm gonna put together another show for you guys and try to do it in segments so we can go over certain things at certain times and through the timeline kind of thing, and work our way through the documents and all the drops.
Time. Do you recognize this vehicle at all? I wanted to see if I could. So I know it's pretty grainy. It's this one right here. That one's tough, but does that look familiar at all?
No.
You don't know that anywhere?
I don't know that part.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this is it's hard to show you on my phone because the quality of the video just kind of gets worse when I've downloaded it from the church's computer,
Uh-huh.
and the quality just gets kind of worse. Can you make out like the shape of that being black shorts and that being possibly a green jacket?
I see the green.
Would that, I mean, I know it's very difficult to recognize, but would that be something, some clothes that she owns, or
Yes.
would the quality be too bad for you to be able to tell based on that?
I mean, the quality's terrible. But
Yeah.
the color scheme,
Would that be akin to something that she owns?
yeah.
Gotcha. And the hair looks a little dark in from here.
Dirty blonde. It could pass for dirty blonde.
That could possibly
yeah.
be her. Okay. Is that It looks a little darker from there, but I almost can't tell like if it's a Toyota or looks a little
From the
different.
front looks different. That looks like a Toyota from the front.
From
and
the
then
front, it
from
looks
the
different, right?
And then from the side, it could be.
It's got a little.
Cadillac.
I mean, yeah, the grill is kind of the same. A little bit. The headlights look a bit the same. Okay, cool. No, I just wanted to see if you kind of were able to help me with that. So this whole living in the woods thing, I have people like tromping through the woods right now on horses and ATVs and all sort of things. But has she ever mentioned that before?
Just in that text that I saw.
Just that's the only time you've ever heard of it? Is she outdoorsy at all? Does she like camping?
We used to go hiking.
Okay.
But we haven't done that in a while.
Okay. Where did you go? Was it around here?
Where would we go? We go hiking in like St. Cloud. Lake Lizzie Preserve is what it's called.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not too far.
It's about 35 minutes away.
Yeah. Okay.
Lake Lizzie Preserve. So we went to the map. I went to the map and I chatted with Butterfly about it. I was like, I want to go and look and see if this place was in the direction where he was headed that day. Because I think the flat tire happened and that's where he happened to leave Maddie.
Mhm.
But it appears you could go that direction, but it's like you would go and turn before you got to where he was at, right, to head toward that location. But if you kept going the way he was going and around the bend, you would have been at other nature preserves. But it was interesting because he didn't know the area well, so why would he be going out there? You know what I mean? So always, as soon as she said that, I was like, is that where he was on his way to and the flat tire happened? But I don't think so based on what I saw on the map. But I
And then the other place was I forget the name. That you said that was by
Oh.
the school. She said another location.
On one.
what was that? I'm sorry.
I said that was another location she mentioned here, but I think we said that was by the school.
That's right behind the school. There's are there apartments in the school? There's like a little nature preserve trail back there in a
Mhm.
little wooded area. And they did find a couple of things, like was the wallet found there? Or
Yeah, I
a
think
glove? But there was just a
the-
couple of random things, but none of it was Maddie's or that they did find, but it
Right.
was like small little, like a hiking trail in neighborhood type deal.
Mhm.
So, yeah, where Jim was talking was like the large preserve. So it got me thinking, wooded, lots of woods, was he headed to a location he knew of
Right.
to do what he had to do?
182. Like Lizzie Preserve, we've also walked Shingle Creek before, but we haven't done that in a very long while.
Got it.
Doodle, take out the trolls because I'm done with it. If you hear a raspy hissing too freaking bad, people want to come over here. I don't want to stay drama. Well, shit, I wasn't doing no drama. I'm doing true crime, but I got weirdos in my chat. So this is not, go over to Grizzly True Crime. She's an awesome channel where I got this from that I'm reviewing, and listen to it on her channel. And maybe you won't hear that. True Crime 3-ring binder. Have a nice day. And don't attempt to tell me that ain't no core group.
But no, I know. The thing is, I started talking to her about World War III. I was talking about, like, hey, this is going on in Palestine and Israel right now.
Oh, so you're talking to her about the wars.
I was talking to her about just what's happening politically, and I'm like, I don't know what that means for us, but we'll see what happens. But I've talked to her about World War III, so that's what I'm just saying.
How long ago was that? I mean, is that something that might have impacted her?
Yeah,
thinking
I feel
now?
like
Okay.
that's why when I read that conversation, I'm like, oh, that's directly related to me talking to her about what's happening in Israel, Palestine, and the potential World War III that might happen from that.
Okay.
And that's why she said she wanted to go live in the woods.
Okay. I'm getting some strange notifications now of some strange BS going on, but I'm going to protect my community. And I'm going to shut this stream down because my community that want to be here to talk about this case, who are trying to have a conversation and chat, the few that are willing to come in and talk about this case, can't do that right now because there's a few trolls coming in over here going hard for somebody for some reason, because a woman got on the internet and ran her mouth about him for a minute. See how y'all roll to protect some man? A man that I don't see can't come and do it himself or something. I really don't know what's going on here, but I'm going to protect my community right now.
I think
This is not
it's
about me. It's not
unfortunate
about
and
me. It never has been
disrespectful.
about me. It's
Yeah.
never been about me. It was about protecting the community the entire time, and it still is. So make no mistake about it with your trolly little bullshit.
That's so disrespectful. She mad at you, if
Glitter, I
anything.
might come back later, hun. I will reschedule because I think I got some business to attend to, and I got a full week ahead of me because I work and I have a child and all the things in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was trying to do me today peacefully. So I think I will come back for my community's sake and present some more stuff. There's that weird ass lock from the inside I was trying to get to, guys. But
Yeah.
I thank y'all for being here. I really do. And those of you who want to do true crime without drama, I'm apologizing for drama because I don't want to do that here. Wisdom, you ain't been here to support, honey. For I don't even know why you're here now, under your real name suddenly. Here to support, but I'm out. Well, bye. I don't really want you here, Wisdom, and you know why. And I'm not going to go. I'm not doing this with you guys here. I'm not allowed to go over to Dago's and drop a legit comment about a case without y'all coming at me, just like y'all did when I questioned Idaho Kim, or Kim, whatever the hell her name is. Doodle don't need you to come over here and give her support, Wisdom. You can quit trying to trigger me with your bullshit. Guys, I'm going to end the stream and I'm going to go handle business privately. And I'll reschedule for later. If you guys want to come back, I don't normally do this. I always forget. Sub up and hit the notification button if you want real true crime in your future. And I appreciate each and every single one of you that are here and my co-host that came along for the ride.
Yeah.
Butterfly,
I'll
I
be here, Sophie.
apologize.
No,
Okay,
no need to.
thank you.
I'll be back with you. I'm here.
All right. All right. I'm going to go because nobody here can steal my joy or any of that bullshit. Bring you Wisdom. No, if you want to go up, we'll go on Dago's channel and do it, honey. Okay? I'll see you there soon.